Okay, we are live today. I'm Angela Hughes, a luxury travel entrepreneur, and I want to welcome you to the special edition that we are doing this morning with Sandy Saburn of Gifted Travel Network. She is the vice president and also like my idol. So I'm so excited to have her on our program today as a special edition Wednesday. Sandy, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks, Angela. I'm so excited to be here. I have been in travel for 20 years and work for Gifted Travel Network and Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs and have done a little bit of everything in travel. So came to this as a second career like a lot of people and went to travel school way back in the day when they had those and learned how to handwrite tickets and all that stuff you never used. But I am passionate about the travel industry.
Well, I know that you guys have a really successful host agency. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then we're going to move into the announcements that we have to go with that. It's so exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Gifted Travel Network was born out of GIFT, Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs, and we're part of Virtuoso. And we are a host agency for independent travel entrepreneurs who have their own brand, their own business, and who are passionate about what they do and primarily sell luxury and a very high level of service to their clients.
Okay, I know that you guys offer like a ton of different trainings, and you've got a workshop coming up for that. And so I want to talk about that, and then I just want to quiz you a little bit on maybe your take on the industry and a few things after that, if that's okay.
Absolutely, I love talking about travel. So
yeah, I love it too. And I was particularly interested in connecting with you because of your Book More Travel workshop. So tell me a little bit about that, when that's taking place, and the whole nine yards.
Absolutely. So the Book More Travel Workshop is taking place March 23rd to the 25th. This is the 7th year that the Book More Travel Workshop has happened. And this is the first year that it will be virtual. And so every year previously, it's been held at a luxury collection hotel called the Ballantine in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we have always sold out. We've always had a ballroom packed full of travel entrepreneurs and vendor partners who were there. But of course, this year couldn't be in person, so we're doing it virtually. And the big difference with Book More Travel Workshop is it's very focused on mindset, marketing, entrepreneurial skills that our independent travel agents, independent contractors, travel advisors, whatever name they call themselves, really need. We think that people spend too much time focused on product training, destination training, and all that stuff. And what they need are clients. Client attraction is the big pain point for most travel entrepreneurs. And so that's what we focus on, both as Gifted Travel Network, and with this event, Book More Travel Workshop, which is open to everybody. This is not something that's for our host agency. This is something that's open to the entire travel industry all across the world. We have people registered from 5 different countries already.
I love that so much. So really, it doesn't have to be a really experienced travel professional or just even a newbie. I mean, you could take someone like myself that's been in the business a really long time, and they would be able to pull something out of that. And then you could take someone that's brand new coming in. Is it a sales? I think sometimes when people see host agencies doing workshops, they feel like it's a sales lead-in to try to get them into their host agency, but that's not necessarily the case.
Right. And for every year until this year, Book More Travel Workshop has been exclusively hosted by GIFT, Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs, which is a membership organization. It's not a host agency. And so that this year, because we needed more people and more support, and more technology, both GIFT and Gifted Travel Network are partnering together to do this. But there's a tremendous amount of training and education that happens over those 3 days. So it's open to everybody. It's not about trying to get people to sign up with the host agency, because we don't take everybody, and we're not a good fit for everybody, and we know that.
Right.
But what we really want to see, we're passionate about the travel industry, and we firmly believe that the future is brighter than it's ever been for travel advisors, and that a lot of good will have come out of this pandemic. And so we want people to come to this event both to get a shot of energy, enthusiasm, excitement, get that passion back about what they do, but also to get some real practical tools that they can use, things like Facebook ads and email marketing and lots of different topics that we're going to be talking about.
So do people actually have to attend all 3 days? Let's say they can only make it 1 day or 2 days. And when is it? Let's go straight to the date. We don't even know when.
It's March 23rd, 24th, 25th. So it's a little less than 2 weeks away. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And because we do have all time zones attending, it's from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time, so that it works for as many people as possible. And you don't have to attend all 3 days, but it's strongly encouraged, because really the content, the way we designed it, we spent a lot of time working on how this content builds on one another. So it builds from day to day to day. Right. And to miss a little is to miss a lot. So we really encourage people to come all 3 days if they can, and to be live, because look, let's be honest. Angela, I'm sure this is true for you. It's true for me. I've signed up for things, didn't end up going the whole time, got the recordings, never watched them. And that's why we think live is the best way to get the most out of this. You can upgrade to VIP and get the recordings. And this is the first time recordings have ever been available for Book More Travel Workshop. And people have asked for that every year, but it just wasn't practical to hire a film crew to record it and then produce it for people, because cost prohibitive.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Are the presentations live, or are they pre-taped?
No, everything is live. And this is not just going to be a series of webinars. So one of the things that's different about what we're doing is, for a year now, I have been in a virtual event coaching program that's led by people who do programs for people like Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson and lots of big names. And so what we've been learning about is how to have a virtual event that's interactive, engaging. It's not just everybody's just sitting here staring at the screen all day, because we've all done plenty of that for a year. So you're going to get to meet other people in the industry that are participating. You're going to get to hear from great speakers, and everything is live. Nothing's recorded. Yeah,
I'm super excited. I'm going to be there, you guys. And I asked that question because sometimes I've gone to other, and I'm talking big national shows that we had last year where it was pre-taped, and the person's reading it right off the script. And I want to be like, that's the best you can bring to us. We're coming live, we're taking time out of our day, but yet you're giving us a pre-recorded, really boring speaker. And I think it just makes a huge difference to be live and make it interactive. Will there be people in the chat responding to questions, or?
Yes.
So it will be interactive, where you can be chatting along as you go with questions.
Yes, very interactive. So we will have, we're building a whole studio in our office. Yeah. And so the presenters will be there and on the stage. And then we will have a team of people who are monitoring the chat. We'll have a separate help area for people who have any technical problems. So we're really bringing best-in-class technology to this to make the experiences as interactive as possible, and to make sure people get out of it what they want. And you mentioned earlier about the experienced people and the new people. This is the first year we're doing 2 different tracks, one for breakout sessions for experienced people and for new people, including those people who were like, I've kind of been thinking about this. I'm not sure if I want to do it. So they're welcome too. I'm actually going to host a couple of hour Q&A session and presentation for them the week before, so that to kind of get them up to speed on some travel terminology and some things they need to know to be as comfortable as possible when they jump right into it.
So if you are new, it's a good start for you guys. And like they said, they'll give you the blast of, early acronyms that you need to know, so you don't feel like you're lost. If you're not new, like myself, you're going to be pulling from like a ton of wisdom that you can take home and use for your own agencies. Like they said, if you just tuned in, it's just not for their agency or their partnership with others. It can be used for any individual, solo entrepreneur, or big host agencies in itself. And that's how I got on board. I'm recommending it to my people. Okay, let's talk a little bit about can you give us some idea of who might be speaking at it? Any insider trading
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that when we sat down to talk about this, we're very big believers in starting with the why. Why are we doing this? Who do we want to be? What do we want people to get out of it? That approach. So when we sat down, we talked about it, and we looked at the themes that we had, and we pulled in, and it's primarily our team. We talked about bringing in some outside speakers, and then decided that the best approach was to leverage our team, because we've got people who've coached hundreds, if not thousands, of travel entrepreneurs. So Meredith Hill, who is asked us Travel Entrepreneur of the Year a few years ago, is going to be one of our speakers. Vanessa McGovern, who's a really great social media strategist in the travel industry. Jen Cochran, who is the CEO of our company, and who is really great at working on operational side of your business, and she talks a lot about making money. So we're going to have those, and we're also going to have a lot of actual advisors telling their success stories, talking about what they did during this last year that worked. So we've got some people who really dug into Facebook ads and increased their list and have increased their sales significantly. So we're going to focus on them. We also are going to have some people talking about specific email marketing strategies that they've done and sharing those success stories. And then we're also going to have our marketing team talking about branding and also digging into Facebook ads and how to actually do them. So a lot of great people that we're going to have. And it's not speakers that a lot of people maybe have heard of, but I guarantee they're going to get to the end of the week and be impressed.
Yeah. And I just love having kind of those golden nuggets coming out from real advisors who are like in the trenches, who are offering up really great ideas and telling people what works and what doesn't work. And I've watched a lot of your different shows, and it's just amazing what people are doing. I always think I'm doing the next best thing, but I'm not always doing the next best thing. And sometimes the next best thing doesn't work for me. I need to try something new, depending on what my strategy is.
And somebody said to me last night, I hosted a webinar last night, and somebody made a comment of, why are you sharing all this information with your competitors? And one of the things that the way I responded to them is, we don't see anybody else in the travel industry as our competitors. We really believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. And if we all do better, we're all better off for it. And if we take the mindset of, oh, you might steal from me, or I can only be more successful if you're less successful, that is never a path to happiness and success in life. So that's not what we do. So we offer up our very best for everybody and hope that people can use it, because then the industry that we love benefits from it.
And I really love that whole mindset. I mean, obviously we're working for two different separate organizations, and we do similar things on a smaller scale or larger scale. And I really think there is power in collaboration with people. And I feel like I see that so much with newer agents or agents that feel protective of their territories, which is ridiculous, because there is so much pie to be had, pieces of the pie for everybody to be had. And I feel like you're more powerful. And I want every single advisor or agency owner or DMC that's out listening to this to know that when you're collaborating with people, you're going to grow and you're going to build and you're going to gain strategies and you're going to be better off. And it's not a power struggle. It's not a financial struggle. There's plenty of business for everybody to be had. And I really appreciate that about your organization and your workshops, that they're pretty inclusive of everybody to learn and grow from. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. There is plenty of business for everybody. One of the statistics that we're part of Virtuoso that shared recently was that more than 200,000 people in the last year have reached out to Virtuoso and said, I need a travel advisor. These are consumers, traveling public, who said, I need a travel advisor. Can you connect me with one? 200,000 people. We saw this before the pandemic, and we'll see it even more so now, because so many people got burned by the online travel agencies. So there's going to be even more demand. So the pie is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more we promote ourselves as not hobbyists, but serious professional people, then the pie just continues to get bigger and bigger, and we all do better.
Okay, can you take a question right now?
Absolutely.
Live. Okay. I will be on vacation during this time. Is it still worth registering for to get recording and materials?
Absolutely. So if you want the recordings, you can register for $47, and Angela will share the link with you to register. So register for $47, and then if you upgrade to the VIP package, that's how you get the recording. So that's an additional $197. It's absolutely worth it to get the recording and materials. And we have a little swag bag that we're sending to people who register for VIP if they register by Tuesday. So if you sign up for VIP by Tuesday, you'll get that swag bag in the mail before the event.
Okay, so get swagging, you guys, and get registering before Tuesday. Okay, do you have time to take a few personal questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's. And these are all off the cuff. These are not rehearsed. We don't have. What do you think the biggest problem with advisors are right now?
Oh, that's a great question.
I know this is going to be like hot seat now.
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem with advisors right at this moment is that they are letting their fear dictate keep them from moving forward. They've been so shell shocked by this past year that some of them are afraid to put themselves out there and are afraid to move forward. And many of them are hiding, and they're going to be shocked 6 months from now when they see vacation pictures from what used to be good clients, because their clients hadn't heard from them and they think they're out of business.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this before. Either I was saying like I actually have some post-traumatic stress from some clients. Now, not the clients particularly, but the situation of
right.
We're now rebooking people for the third time on certain things and so forth. And so literally I see their file even digitally, and I'm like, oh, I just don't have it in me to like keep pushing through this. But so I feel like there is a little bit of post-traumatic stress where
Sure.
I even felt, and I've said this vocally so many times, a sense of depression where I've never experienced depression, but I actually felt like I was depressed for a month or two, like right during the pandemic. And it really took me from June on to like rebuild to be, my amazing self again, which I did. But so I get it when advisors are like, whoa, I just feel like I'm not all there. Yeah, we went through real shock and awe.
We did. It was a really, really traumatic time for our industry, and therefore for the people who are in it. And that's perfectly understandable. And I think the best antidote to that is a great community. If you're not surrounded by people who are helping to inspire you and help keep you up, you're going to be challenged. And that's why I think people who try to do this completely on their own are really making things harder for themselves than they need to be.
Yeah, I think the mentorship's huge for it. Surrounding yourself with great people. This workshop is just a great way to get yourself remotivated, because that's something I'm kind of seeing with my own private consulting clients at the Luxury Travel University, is people are feeling like they're in a rut. I mean, are you seeing that on your end as well?
Yes. We have so many people who've done so many creative and innovative things. And one of the best ways to get out of that rut is to see something that somebody else has done and say, well, I can do that. And they're offering it up and saying to you, here's what I did. Do it if it works for you.
Yeah. We've got somebody right now that's signing up from Italy. So thank you for checking out the Book More Travel Workshop. But yeah, I'm also seeing that like when I'm working with people, I'm always like, you got to fix what's on the inside. I must say that every single week in one of my things, or one of my live sessions or in my private consulting is if you want to be a really fantastic advisor, you've got to fix what's going on inside first. And then you're going to be able to really put it out there. And the Book More Travel Workshop is really helping people to learn those strategies, those key steps that they need to take to really move on that. So, and I love that we're reaching clear to Italy. That's the power right now of where we're at in the world. Isn't that
absolutely? So we now have Italy, Norway, New Zealand, Uganda, Canada, and the United States. So 6 countries so far.
Yeah. And here's one of my advisors. I just signed up. Woohoo! So
awesome.
I love it. Yeah, and Brittany's really an up-and-coming young professional here in Orlando, and so she could really take away from this, and she's on a great track already, so I can see this being a huge success for her. Okay, what other things do you feel like agents or advisors really need to do to pop into 2021 with a bang, because I feel like we started 2021 and it kind of was an extension of 2020, but we're starting to tick now. We're starting to move.
I feel like April 1st should be January 1st, 2021, and let's just start this year
I haven't
off.
lost any weight yet. So,
yeah.
The weight loss piece. Okay.
Me too. I think the main thing that people can do is, you've still got a little bit of time. For those of you two things. For those of you who are experienced, you've still got a little bit of time to make sure that you are super clear about what it is that you want your business to look like. This is your business. You should work with the clients that you like, booking the kind of travel that you like, and it should be a wonderful experience to go to work in your business every day. If you're new, I'll just say it right out. Please don't listen to those people who tell you book everything and do everything for anybody, and that's how you learn, and then eventually you can figure out a specialty. I think that's the long road to success.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to specialize right up front. And, I know there's more to that than just picking something off a chart and saying, okay, here's my specialty, but really be passionate about what you do and let that passion come through. People want to work with subject matter experts. And then the other thing is, please don't be offended that not everybody out there is your client. I had to go to the doctor's office this morning for some blood work, and I was talking to the woman who drew my blood, and she was talking about a trip. And, she's looking for the cheapest price. She would never pay a professional fee to somebody. And that's okay. I'm happy to talk to her about travel, but she's not a great match for any of our travel advisors. There are lots of those people out there, but there's far more people who will love you and value what you do for them.
Yeah, I know that we're both really huge on charging service fees. How have you guys helped your advisors get over the hump of feeling that confidence, or not feeling the confidence to charge a fee? I hear this from my own advisors where they're like, well, that's because you have a bigger book of business. So, it doesn't matter. I'm like, no, not really. Because I started out in brick and mortar like you, writing paper tickets and using a hotel index guide. And, back in the early 90s. Yeah. And so it was hard to transition from coming from brick and mortar to then host agency or, to an IC model, to a host agency model, to starting to charge fees. I mean, fees were not always a subject 10 years ago or even 5,
5 years ago. And I think 5 years ago, they were really starting to emerge. And a lot of people were saying you really need to be charging professional fees. And then last year, when all these people did all that work for nothing because they didn't charge professional fees, now there's going to be a lot of people charging that. I think it goes back, getting comfortable with it goes back to what you said earlier. You've got to get your head in the right space. And if you don't value the service that you're bringing to people enough, and maybe you need to expand the amount of service that you're doing, because if you're still in that old school booking, that what you do is you make the booking and then you're done with them until final payment, that's not the model that works anymore. So you really have to look at, what am I doing to earn this fee? And you have to get comfortable with it. And I'll have to say that of all the advisors that I've worked with that have introduced fees after not charging them for a while, the number one response from their clients is something along the lines of, well, I always wondered why you didn't charge a fee before. And even sometimes they say, okay, I'm happy to pay that. You probably ought to be charging more than that for all that you do. So it's something that you have to recognize. And I think once we get past this hump of the next year or two, and even more people start charging those professional fees, I think that you will, people will be even more comfortable with it. And please start from the very beginning charging fees. If you are affiliated with a host agency or some sort of a network where you're getting access to lots of different people who can help you no matter where you're going, you've got great vendor relationships. Maybe like if you're part of like we're part of Virtuoso, if you have access to Virtuoso resources, you should be charging a professional fee to people. And don't make it so small that it feels like a penalty. I mean, I think if somebody said my fee is $25, I think, I'm not really sure you know what you're doing. I mean, I think $250 is a much better starting point.
Plus me 25 just to eat my Greek food every day for lunch.
Yeah.
Will we be discussing in the workshop anything on fees? Will there be anything related to that? Is that a topic, or have we beat that dead horse? I feel like we've beat it so many times.
I feel like we've beat it so many times. I mean, there's certainly opportunity for people to have this conversation with other people because we have built-in time for people to do that, but we don't have a session specifically on fees. Now, we do have a session that Jen's doing called Want to Pay Yourself Six Figures, Here's How.
Okay,
And
that makes me more excited than should I charge a service fee, right?
Right. And fees will certainly be a part of that equation.
Okay, I love that, because I think the goal is not only at the Luxury Travel University, where that's my space, and with yours, is to get people up to six figures. I mean, and that's really realistic. I mean, that should be your goal, everybody, is to make as much money as possible and not be miserable doing it. So,
and I think that's one of the reasons that the travel industry has not been more successful, is there needs to be more people making more money. And the reason that they're not making more money is because they're going about this the wrong way. It's like, my son is grown now, but when he was a teenager in early 20s, and every parent's had this experience, you would see them sort of metaphorically going down a path that you knew was going to end in disaster. You could tell them till you were blue in the face and they were not going to change. Actually, it might make them go down the path faster. But it's the same way. I see these travel advisors get into this and they just post on Facebook, "Hey, I'm a travel agent. Call me if I can help." And it's like, that's just not going to do anything to get you clients, nor is posting certificates. Look, I just completed this training from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Well, that's lovely, but that's not how you get clients either.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question really quick.
Okay, good.
Oh, actually, this is interesting. It's not a question. We've got people in Burma watching. So we're really around the circle today. They're around the globe today. Okay. Do you have time for a couple more questions? Because I value your time. Let's get personal. You didn't become a VP overnight. What was some of your biggest failures and life lessons that you can teach some of the viewers today?
Good question. So, I was in a whole different career field for, most of my, till 20 years ago. And I always wanted to work in travel. And when I got out of college back in the 80s, and I went back then, travel schools were everywhere. And I was going to go to travel school. So I went and talked to some travel agents who said, and to just find out more about what it was like. And I talked to 3 different agents at 3 different agencies. Back then, these were all brick and mortar. And they said the same thing to me: "This is the worst job in the world. Go do something else." So I was like,
at times I have said that too. So yeah.
Okay. So I went and did something else. And then 20 years ago, on a 19-day Mediterranean cruise on Orient Lines, for anybody who's been around for a long time remembers them, I told my husband, "I really want to do this." And he was like, "Well, just do it already and quit talking about it." So I did it. And I think that some of the mistakes that I made early on, I've worked as a frontline agent, I've been in marketing, I've been in sales, I've been in training, I've been in lots of different fields, were probably just not having enough faith in what I could contribute, and always making sure that I was in a role where I did get to contribute at what is highest and best use of my skills. And that's one of the things I love about this company I'm working for. And interestingly, my very first exposure to Gifted Travel Network and GIFT, Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs, was Book More Travel Workshop 4 years ago. I was at an ASTA chapter meeting. I sat next to Vanessa McGovern. Actually, just was not in a great mood that day. Didn't really want to be there. And this chatty person comes and sits next to me. And we just start talking and just hit it off. And she invited me to come to this event, which was literally 5 miles from my house. So I went, and when I walked in the room, I could immediately tell this was different, because I've been to, like you, I've been to a lot of travel industry events. I'd been to every one you can imagine. And the people in this room were just different. And what they were talking about from the stage was different. And the energy was so great. And so I said to the person sitting next to me, "I am going to work for these women." And that's what I just stalked them until they hired me. So,
and they did, and now you're
and they did, and so now I'm vice president. So yeah.
What's been the biggest high point of your career so far?
I am very fortunate that I absolutely love what I do, and I think that I think being part of this agency and helping provide so much guidance and inspiration as part of a team to this amazing group of people that both that host with us and that are part of Gift, who are hosted in lots of different other places, has just been a real pleasure. And to see that we're part of the future and helping change the industry a little bit at a time. And we hear that from our vendor partners all the time, that our members are amazing and professional and smart and just are doing great things. And it's just very rewarding. I used to tell people, because I was a career coach before, you spend too much time at work not to love what you do. And so I'm very happy and very fortunate to love what I do.
Well, I love that so much. And you've definitely had a big impact on me. So I appreciate this time today. Okay, everybody, just as a reminder, the Book More Travel Workshop starts March 23rd for 3 days. There is a link in, and I'll put it in the comments as well if you don't see it right away in this YouTube. It's right below. You can click on that. You can get on there for a special deal right now, and you have to book before Tuesday, she said.
So you can book, right? If you want to upgrade to the VIP and get the swag in the mail, you need to do that before Tuesday.
So get swag in, everybody, before Tuesday. They want to get you ready and prepped. And if you have questions, you can reach out to Sandy directly or the Gift team. There's a million of them on the internet. They can link you up right there and answer your questions. But I'd love to see you guys doing that. I feel like anytime that you can get really quality training, it's going to pay off. And I mean, honestly, for $47, you guys cannot even miss this. I mean, that's nothing.
Last year when it was in person, it was $299. And when we're talking about the price this year, we didn't have to pay that $60,000 AV bill, literally $60,000 for AV for the in-person event. So we said we can make it more affordable this year. And it's been a hard year financially for a lot of people. So let's just make it as reasonable as possible. Look, we didn't want to do it for free, because you do it for free and then a bunch of people sign up and they don't show up. So you got to have some skin in the game too.
Yeah, I feel like, and really quick, because I want to talk about that for a minute, but I feel like financially, if you don't put a financial investment into travel, you don't have skin in the game. And you're most likely, I've seen this happen where we've taken on people and they haven't made a financial investment, or they haven't invested in their business, and literally 12 weeks later, they're selling Tupperware or whatever. They've switched over. And so, really the good quality education in travel, the workshops, everything, they're going to cost you money, and you should expect to come for free. I'm totally on board with that.
I agree completely. And the great thing about the travel industry is it's a very reasonable, even when you're paying for a coaching program, which we have an amazing program for people who are brand new to the industry, who want to learn not to be a travel agent, but to be a travel entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So, you have to pay for that, but at least it's not like other industries where you have to spend $20 or $50 or $100,000 to get started. But if you're expecting to get started for nothing, then you're in the wrong field, because you've got to invest in your business. You've got to invest in your brand and getting your branding done. Don't DIY that, getting a website. So there are going to be expenses, and you're right. You've got to invest in yourself and invest in education. It's not an expense. It's an investment, because it has a return.
Yeah. And I believe that. I mean, I come from the formal education side of teaching on the university level in the travel and tourism and hospitality, and have a master's myself. And so I believe that. I feel like people that are successful invest in their business. It doesn't mean you need to go to college to do that. It means you need to be investing in. So this Book More Travel Workshop, you guys, is exactly where you need to be. March 23rd. Link is below. And so I want to thank Sandy today for being a guest on this special edition of my show that continues to evolve every single week into lots of surprises. But it's been just a pleasure to have you here. So I will see you next week at the Bookmore Travel Workshop, because I'm definitely endorsing that, and I'll be there, and Sandy will be there in full force, giving you a wealth of knowledge with her team. So
yeah, I actually will probably be behind the scenes because I'm producing this event. So I'm doing one session, but so you won't see me much, but I will be there making sure all the cogs turn and all the things happen. And we're so excited to have you join us, Angela. And thanks for endorsing all this. And thanks for all that you do to up-level our industry.
Yeah, well, thank you. See you guys later. We'll talk to you later.